Hi, this is Lance Culver, and this is going to be a TyFlow tutorial. In this video, I will be talking about custom properties, but more specifically, how to transfer data in between particles from different events. So the custom properties rollout section of the custom properties operator. I know to some this might seem confusing, which is probably why I haven't made this video yet. So if you've never opened TyFlow before, this might not be the lesson to start out with. But if you've worked with it a few times, there's absolutely nothing here you can't pick up on. So I'm still going to call this a beginner's lesson. So if you're new to TyFlow, don't tune out. The information I'm going to share in this video is definitely something I wish I would have had access to when I was first learning TyFlow. So if you're at all familiar with TyFlow, or even if you've used it quite a bit and you're not 100% familiar with custom properties and how they work, this will definitely be a video for you to watch. Once you understand how they work, you will instantly have an opportunity to add a level of sophistication to your simulations that you just did not have before. In the next 5 minutes, you're absolutely going to understand how to send data between particles using custom properties. I have 10 green particles, 10 blue particles, and 1 red particle, and each of them is on a different simulation group. And I've uploaded this scene. I'll provide a link in the description, so please download it so you can follow along. If we're going to be sending data in between particles, we also must include the set target operator, because that's how we're going to tell each particle which particle we want it to look at to collect data from. So if I had this red particle and I wanted it to target one of these green particles for whatever, and obviously you wouldn't set a scene up like this, but this could be any scene that's just as good for demonstration purposes. If I were to drop a set target into this red event here and choose random, and then for target filters I would just select simulation group 2, which is the group these green particles are on. And you'll notice I also have a display data in each of these. Turn this one on, come down to line to target and enable this, and it's going to draw a line over here to the particle that has birth ID 5. So one thing to understand here is when I use this set target and it is targeting particle with birth ID 5 over here, it is creating a channel that it's calling target, and it's setting the number 5 as the value of that channel. If you wanted to check and see what the value of a specific channel is, then you can use the display data, enable custom float, and see here channel target, and then you'll see this text appeared here that says custom float equals 5. So that's all the data that's contained in that channel. And so this number is actually how TyFlow is going to set the target. If I come back in here to this set target and I change it from random to by value, and here where it says static, see how it just selected 0, this 0, I choose 5. It's going to select birth ID 5, right? So that number is the data that we want to transfer. But what if I wanted to tell all these blue particles to also target the same particle the red particle's targeting? You know, if I just use a set target in here, I can't do the same thing as far as choose random, target filters. And if I come over here to this display data, enable this line to target, I mean, this is what we get. That's not going to work, right? So that's where custom properties comes in. If I change this from random to by proximity and choose simulation group 1, which is the group that this red particle's on, and then change proximity to absolute closest, and you'll notice there was no line drawn, and the reason for this is this red event is actually the third event being evaluated. At the time TyFlow executes this set target operator that's going to search for particles on group 1, this red particles event has not been looked at yet by TyFlow, so therefore it does not exist, so no target is set. But if I were to select this blue event and give an evaluation priority of 3, I don't know if you can see it underneath there, but the birth ID now of this red particle is 10, and previously it was 20, so it's being evaluated second. Alright, so now we have the particles targeting this red particle. So why did we do that? Because the red particle has the information we want to collect. And drop a custom properties in here. And then so the custom properties rollout, this seems to be what gives the most confusion, or at least this is what I get asked about the most. Since we're trying to get information from this particle, we'll just go ahead and use get first. And I'll show you both ways and how they would work. So for the data source, we're going to choose the target, because the red particle has the information we want to collect. But for the value, we're going to leave this as self. Under the custom float data, we're going to change it to current value. And then for channel, just select target. And now you can see that all of our particles just switched their target and are now targeting the particle of birth ID 5. So that data has been transferred over to these blue particles. So, and also if we were to change this to set, we would change this channel to self and the value to target. So with this operation, we were trying to set the channel, set the data to the channel. And the channel we're trying to set is the channel associated with each one of these particles, the channel that we're calling target, this channel. Now I know this is confusing, but it's about to be clear in just 1 second. Just stick with me. So again, here, using the set operation, the channel that we're trying to set the data to is the channels associated with these particles. And that channel is called target. But the value that we're seeking is the value from the target, which right now is this red particle. Even though these are pointing over here, this is happening in real time. Before this custom properties is executed, the value of the channel called target is 10, which is the birth ID of this red particle. But once the custom properties has been evaluated, that value is changed to 5. And it's changing because I've instructed it to set the data to the channel called target. And that leads to a potential issue if we wanted to keep the data of the original target, this red particle. Like for instance, if it were going to switch targets again and we wanted to pass that data over to these blue particles so they could also switch targets, we have erased the original target information. And right now in this scene, it'd be easy to find this red particle. It's a static particle by itself on its own group. But as this got more complicated, as we built onto it, there may come a situation in a later event where we wanted to have access to that original target information. And so it may not be as easy just to find it. And so let me do it this way so that it's a little bit more clear. Let's come back over into this set target. And I'm going to change the name of this channel to get ID. Change the target to random so we can see it under display data. Change the link to target channel to get ID, and also change this custom float to get ID. Okay, so now this set target is creating a channel called get ID that has a value of 2, which is the birth ID of the particle being targeted. And then over here in this set target, here where it says channel, I'm going to name it target 1. And then here under the custom properties, you need to change this channel here to target 1. And then under channel, under the custom float data, change that to get ID. Let's turn this on. And then of course you see all these not found things pop up. And so if you was pulling your hair out, you'd think, oh my God, but really it's just that my display data still has the original default name of target. So if I change that to get ID, that's working. So if I change this to get ID also, so now we're targeting particle 2. So that data is being transferred nicely and is not overriding the other information. And is also, we still have access to the original target. If I change this to target 1, we can see that that data still exists. The birth ID value of 10 is still in the channel called target 1. And the channel get ID contains the birth ID number 2. So like just to give an example, if I use a move to target, you can see the particles just jumped over here to the particle of birth ID 0. And this is because an unset channel value has a 0 by default, and that is technically a valid target since there is a particle with the birth ID 0. So if you would want to guarantee that no particles have a default target, you could use a custom properties and set the value of the channel target to -1, and that would be an invalid target. But if I were to change this to get ID, they're going to come over to the actual target. Or if I change this to target 1, you can see they're here where the red particle is. Let me turn this off real quick and I'll show you. So I mean, just a quick example here. Let's say we use a time test here, and after 10 frames or so, I'm going to move these particles into a new event and drop a custom properties in here. Leave the operation on set, and this time I'm going to change the channel to target and the value to target. I'm going to create a channel called command and give it a value of 1, and we'll connect that to the time test. But here under target, I'm going to change the channel to get ID, and then if I drop a property test, into this event here, and I change the test type to custom float and change the custom data channel to command. I say if it is greater than 0, we want to drop a display into a new event, connect that to the property test. Shut that off there. If I scrub the timeline through, you can see that that particle was sent into a new event. So that is extremely useful in any number of ways, and I really do appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. As always, if there was any part of it that you didn't understand or you're having problems with, feel free to leave a comment. If you liked the video, please hit the like button, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. But again, I really appreciate it. Take care, and we will see you next time. Thank you.